This is Chris Strub Unmuted, a show designed for open dialogue, honest reflection, and uncensored truths about the lives that we lead. Today's episode looks at HYROX and HYROX Training at Orangetheory Fitness. And I'm so thrilled to record my first on-site episode here at OTF Greenville downtown. If you know anything about me, you know that this is a perfect spot. We got permission to record inside the studio. So in a moment, we're gonna whoosh our way inside. We're gonna put our editor Jeff to work here on the video, or if you're listening on audio, you can watch the show too on YouTube. That might be a helpful step if this is your first time listening and you wanna go watch the show instead. Find me on YouTube at Chris Strub. You can tune in because today we got a special episode with my good buddy, Dan Mitchell. He works regionally here with Orangetheory Fitness in South Carolina. My favorite Orangetheory Fitness coach, with apologies to every single other coach I've ever taken a class with. He is absolutely incredible. He is a two-time hybrid rock star. We hung out this past weekend in Miami, where he competed in singles, and I, of course, competed in doubles with my good buddy, Jake Rupert. And I wanted to come in and do this episode at Orangetheory so that, one, you could see what OTF is like if you've never been in a studio, and two, you could actually see some of the movements. Again, there's no way we could squeeze in everything in like a 15, 20-minute episode, but I had Dan kind of show you some of the movements that we practice and go through at Orangetheory. So I started training formally for HYROX back in December. We'll talk all about that in the episode. So without further ado, Jeff, let's throw it inside to the conversation with Chris Strub and Dan Mitchell. Whoosh.
The design team for that connection between Orangetheory and HYROX, the way they've designed these templates and the phases, it's next level.
Today's episode talks HYROX and Orangetheory Fitness, and I am in, quite honestly, probably my favorite place. This is the Downtown Greenville studio. I practically lived here for years. This is my buddy Dan Mitchell. Dan, what is your title here with Orangetheory?
So I am the Regional Fitness Manager for South Carolina.
And what exactly do you do in that job?
So in that role, I train coaches to become coaches at Orangetheory Fitness. I also develop coaches, help them go for their pro coach licenses here at Orangetheory, and just generally make sure classes are the best experience for everyone.
And you are a coach yourself. In about 20 minutes, you're about to scream at me and
yes.
kill me for an hour.
Hopefully see if this even goes out, because you might not be able to.
How many coaches do you think you've trained over the years?
I've been coach development for about 7 years. So in those 7 years, I think I've coached over 200 coaches to be Orangetheory coaches in 8 different states.
Wow. And Dan, you are also a hybrid rock star.
Sure.
Congratulations. Two-time hybrid rock star. Your first one was where?
Atlanta last year.
Atlanta last year, and then you were in Miami with us this past weekend.
Yep.
Singles both times, which is impressive.
It was singles both times, and big shout out to Selena Dennis, who always is there to cheer me on. She's amazing.
Oh, it was so great. She was FaceTiming your wife from there, which was really cool.
Yep.
I was FaceTiming Vassar, who's the head coach here downtown. So we were all there cheering you on. And that's a big part of HYROX, is that supportive environment.
I think that's another reason why HYROX and Orangetheory are such a good partnership, because not only is it the exercises that we do at Orangetheory that kind of help towards the functional movement, but the community feel and aspect, like you get that with Orangetheory, but you really get that at HYROX as well. Like you noticed it, like everyone in the building screaming, shouting, encouraging. It's just, it's a very big fitness family. It's global, just like Orangetheory.
And this is a big fitness family too. So I joined Orangetheory in January of 2020. I've been here over 6 years. I've taken 1,500 plus classes. A lot of them with this guy, because he's really, really good at what he does. So if you're ever coming through Greenville or anywhere now in South Carolina, if you see this little circle on your schedule there, you want to pop in. Don't miss your chance to take a Dan class. Dan, back in December, and look at my shirt, by the way. I just bought this shirt here.
New swag.
From our great studio manager, Kelsey Morgan. So shout out to Kelsey here. Dan, back in December, Orangetheory Fitness introduced new HYROX specific classes.
Yes, we did.
Talk to me about that. What went into that? What are those classes like?
Absolutely. So it kind of originally initiated from our corporate fitness director, Nick, who has a very strong passion and big, deep passion in fitness community and what HYROX does in sense of the community and the workout itself. And we've been able to partner with HYROX because the training styles, the principles that we have in our development team when it comes to creating workouts. It's very similar to how you need to train for a HYROX. The cardiovascular aspect that we have, I completely jacked that up, but the cardiovascular output that we work with.
These are great treadmills.
It really works towards the racing piece of a HYROX. So that's the one, you know, the 8Ks that you do, the 1Ks per round. And then the movements that we have on the floor, like we are very big on functional movements and the functional patterns of movement. And, you know, those are very, very big in HYROX. So that partnership just made sense with Orangetheory and HYROX in regards to training.
I talked about this in another episode that you'll hear as part of this season, but that community aspect of what you feel at Orangetheory every day is also really great, right? Like it's one thing to go into HYROX, and of course you went in solo. I competed Sunday night with Jake, who I met here at Orangetheory. His thing on the screen says Jake at OTF, so we're both big Orangetheory guys.
Absolutely.
So that, it almost feels like I did HYROX Sunday night in Miami, but I really did HYROX starting in December through all of that training that you go through, right?
Absolutely. The HYROX classes that we provide at Orangetheory really do prepare you very appropriately for a HYROX race. We might not have all the equipment and pieces that you get at a HYROX race, but the way we'll go through our phases in our HYROX templates, we definitely make it a phased progression so that you can train yourself up to that start line at a HYROX.
Yes, I love that. So it's 12 weeks, and tonight we're recording here, it's April 10th. So here in Greenville, that 12-week cycle is starting again, I believe, tonight.
Yes.
And you kind of progress towards your event whenever that's happening, right? So we did that, we actually completed the 12-week cycle, which ends with 3 90-minute classes, which are a special thing at Orangetheory. You don't often see a 90, but
so 90 minutes of an Orangetheory class in general is spicy. You add in the HYROX aspect, and it's a whole nother level. But again, not to a point where it's, you know, not for the everyday person that's coming in trying to work out. It's still a very doable workout. But it's testing those limits of that cardiovascular work, keeping your body moving on the floor. You know, body in motion stays in motion. And that's really what HYROX is about. You got to stay in motion.
There's one more cool benefit of being an Orangetheory member with HYROX is you actually get early access to register for these events. They're super popular.
Yes.
And here later in April, a lot of those fall events are going on sale. As an Orangetheory member, I get early access to be able to sign up and make sure that I can get into any event that I want.
Absolutely,
Right?
and that does only go for the Orangetheories that are HYROX affiliates.
Yeah.
Obviously, not every single Orangetheory in the nation is an affiliate with HYROX.
Not yet.
Studios, not yet.
Probably getting there.
But studios that have got that affiliation, like Downtown Greenville here, and all the studios actually in the upstate, bar Anderson, you know, once you're an affiliate, you know, we get those early access codes, and we are able to provide them to members at the studio that they're a member at. We, you know, if we've had already at this location a lot of people reaching out just randomly who aren't members asking for the code. It's like, sorry, you gotta be a member.
They're pretty protective
about it. This is the perk
of
being an Orangetheory member.
Yeah. So before we get into, I'm gonna ask you to take us around the studio here, which is gonna be really cool. We're gonna put our editors, Max and Jeff, to work here as I walk around with the camera. But Dan, give me just the general pitch on Orangetheory Fitness. Anywhere in the country, really anywhere in the world, your first class in your home studio is free. So if you haven't tried Orangetheory,
Used to be.
Your first class is not free.
It used to be.
Okay.
There's now a $12. Well, again, it really depends on the locations, right? So depending on the franchisees that you have and the groups that you're with, some studios still do run a first class free. Others do have a $12 first class fee.
Notice how one of us is not on the payroll and the other one is a company man, Dan Mitchell. So, you know what? Send me a message. I'll figure out. I'll cover your $12 if you're a podcast listener and you want to get in and take your first class. I will happily pay for it myself. How about that? That's a pretty good deal.
That was a really good deal.
That's not a bad deal. That's not. I hope this doesn't
But if
go
you
too
do
viral.
sign up as well, that $12 goes towards your membership. So you don't actually lose anything either. You're not actually paying for nothing.
Dan, I went through 12 weeks of intense training here at Orangetheory. I want you to take me around. Maybe let's show me. You got like 3 moves you can show me here. I know we're between classes. Your time is valuable. So let's go walk around. I'm just going to keep it rolling.
Yeah, sure.
Here. Let's take a
Well,
look
obviously the treadmills, that's going to get you going on your 1K runs, especially in the HYROX templates. Very much about building that foundational base and, you know, keeping your legs moving while they feel heavy and fatigued. So obviously treadmill work, and then with Orangetheory, not only in the HYROX classes can you get that, but we have a class called a Tread 50, so you can get even more.
And a lot of these HYROX templates that if you're not familiar with Orangetheory, I would look that up and then re-listen to this. But a lot of the HYROX classes are what we call run rows or run exercises, where you're replicating that experience of going back and forth between the run and doing something else. So you're running on tired legs.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is the big focus of HYROX itself,
100%,
right?
Yep. The design team for that connection between Orangetheory and HYROX, the way they've designed these templates and the phases, it's next level.
And I'm a runner guy. You know, you look at all of the guys that come into a HYROX and the gals that come into a HYROX. A lot of people come in from a strength background, like they're lifters, and then they have to try and like speed up and learn to run.
Yeah.
Or you can come at from the Chris Strub perspective, which is, God, I love to run.
Yep.
But when you put the weights in my hand, it gets a little bit tougher. Yeah. So let's head on over to the weight floor.
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, obviously HYROX has a lot of foundational moves. They have
coming around.
They have a push, they have a pull, they have a lunge, they have a hinge. You know, all these foundational patterns come into play. And obviously sometimes they come into play with different pieces of equipment. So again, we don't have a lot of the equipment that you would see in a HYROX, like a sled or a ski erg, but we do have the rowers, which you absolutely, and to be fair as well, like it's really kind of evident when you go to a HYROX and you can see someone on the rower who's rowed correctly and probably done an Orangetheory class and rowed, like the form, the technique.
I nailed that one, baby.
Yeah, it looked great. So, so some of the moves that we have here, so like if we want to try and train for a ski erg, obviously we don't have that in the building, but we do have, you know, we can do a hip hinge skier swing. So dumbbells are going to stay kind of in the hands, feet under the hips, just kind of like you would at the ski erg station. And it's that hinging motion and then thrusting the hips forwards, arms coming up inside and in line with the shoulders. And that's almost mimicking that hinge motion that you get on that ski erg.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a very ski motion. Getting that hip hinge, it really is. It's more about that hinging motion on a ski erg than pulling at all. So it's a really great motion. Obviously the wall balls, that's another really challenging movement in the HYROX. It's the last piece of the HYROX. So your legs are toast and you're trying to throw a wall ball
100 times.
Yes,
100 times.
So one way you can do that here, we can do almost like a front loaded or a kind of stacked squat to press. So again, feet staying under the hips like you would with the wall ball, coming down into that full squat. Really big on form in HYROX. So as you come up, pushing that weight to the sky. You will get called on no reps at a HYROX if you don't go low enough.
Did you get called on
no
reps?
I didn't, luckily.
Okay.
But I did miss my target a few times.
Okay.
So it was, you know, it didn't get counted. So
I've got a little B-roll we'll throw in the podcast here of Dan dropping the medicine
dropped
ball.
It on the judge right behind me, so I'm pretty sure that went down like a
Even
treat.
when you're Dan Mitchell, and not everything goes perfect during your HYROX. It's
Nothing's
okay.
perfect. Nothing's perfect.
You just got to keep rolling through.
And then obviously in a lot of the Orangetheory classes, lunges. You know, there are forward walking lunges.
Yeah.
In the you know the HYROX itself. So again, just keeping that weight in hand, hitting those forward lunges. Knee has to touch the floor in a HYROX, but keeping that chest tall and ensuring that when you come up, it's more of an upward motion as opposed to a forward motion. But we do a lot of lower body work in Orangetheory for sure.
This is re-traumatizing for me thinking through all these stations.
Yeah, lunges were great. I love the lunges. It was great.
It's a lot, man. You know what's fun with with that sandbag too. So when we were training, we would carry around the weights and go through the lunges and everything. And when we got to HYROX itself, we had never actually used the HYROX sandbags, but the weights that we used here were actually heavier than what we were doing at HYROX. So when Jake and I picked up the bag, it was like, we can do this.
Yeah.
Like I felt capable of what we were going to do. I love doing these too, by the way. This is my modification with the lunges to kind of keep the weight balanced on your shoulders.
Yeah, well, it definitely mimics more so of keeping the thumbs kind of hooked under your sandbag. You can kind of just let it hang if you wish, but like when you've got that sandbag on your shoulders, your elbows kind of naturally do raise, and holding it out in a kind of wide motion probably just doesn't feel particularly comfortable. So holding them up in that kind of stacked position does mimic more of the sandbag on those shoulders.
So let's wrap things up here. I know you have a class to coach, and you're going to take it really easy on me because you always do here.
Always.
At 11:30.
Good luck.
11 all outs on the template today, so that should be a good time. Dan, let me just tie this all back together.
Sure.
Why should someone who is considering doing a HYROX do a HYROX race?
So, one, if you enjoy challenging yourself and putting yourself to the test for yourself, it's just a great way to challenge where you're at in your fitness journey, in a almost sometimes in a mental health journey as well, like putting yourself through something challenging to see that you can do it on the other side.
It's tough.
There's no specific time that you have to get to complete a HYROX. It's you do it until you finish, right?
Yeah.
And if you want a sense of being a part of a community, being in a fitness community that's got your back no matter what and no matter where, not in the country but in the world. Very similar to Orangetheory. Like, we've got that community aspect very much down with each other. Like, everyone's cheering you on, and it's a great.
It was so
motivation.
cool. I will tell you, HYROX Miami was 3 days. Jake and I weren't on until Sunday night. So unfortunately, you were back here in Greenville by the time we actually went on. But for me, at my very first HYROX this past weekend, I actually think I had more fun on Friday and Saturday spectating and getting out and supporting other people, especially seeing some of the folks that I've sweat in here many Sheena on Friday, and then to come root you on Saturday. Like, there's just something really special about that spectator environment to be able to get right up in, like, I was right in your face, like screaming at you.
And you think about how you met Selena as well. Selena's with Orangetheory in our Columbia region, again with Orangetheory, and that was a connection that you made with someone else from Orangetheory that you've never had interaction before, and just knowing that you can see people and cheer people on and create new friendships and relationships, whether they're Orangetheory or not, it's just a great way of bringing people together.
And that mimics it. So maybe you're watching this, you've done a HYROX, you've never been to Orangetheory. I would say the same thing goes in reverse too. Like, we do a lot of benchmarks throughout the year, and I like to run, but my favorite thing about coming and running the mile, for example, is not me running the mile. It's coming in and cheering on the person next to me on the treadmill and helping them. Like, I might be a little bit faster than that person, but if they're trying to break 7 minutes for the first time, I'm like, perfect, stick with me and let's go. Right?
So and
it's even more.
It's the community aspect. It's when you come to Orangetheory, no one is ever going to be looking down on you or thinking, oh, well, they can't do this, they can't do that. That's never what Orangetheory has ever been about. It's always about, like you said, like cheering each other on, being a part of a fitness community. And again, I think that's not just the actual, the relationship we have with HYROX in regards to the training and how we, view how you need to prepare for things like that similarly, but it's that community thing as well. We have a great community base, on both sides.
And I want to thank you for being a big part of that. I've complimented you on that over the years, that a lot of these coaches that we get to work with here in the upstate, around South Carolina now, and the rest of your region and everything, like, if they learn from this man, they're doing a great job. And that's really, like, I genuinely mean that.
I appreciate that.
Like, this dude makes a huge difference in the experience here in South Carolina. So, Dan, literally, when I say you and I could talk HYROX for hours, we literally did on Saturday in Miami. We're just up all night, like, looking at data, talking about stations and stuff. I know we got to go, but I want to say thank you for taking the time today. Maybe we'll do this again sometime.
Absolutely, yeah. If anyone obviously wants more information, if you see this podcast with Chris and you want more information about Orangetheory, HYROX, that partnership, just, obviously reach out to Chris via the podcast, and we'll do another
This
episode.
dude, too, on SC Coach Dan on Instagram, like, accessible, just answers your questions. And Vassar here, too, in Greenville, is unbelievably good. So if you're in the Greenville area and you're watching this, assuming we didn't just break the studio with whatever fell out there.
But no, that's a really great point. If you are doing Orangetheory and HYROX for the very first time, Vassar's class would be the one to come to for sure.
Definitely, yeah. And if you're looking for your own fan base at HYROX, it's right here under the orange lights, wherever you might be, with a free class sponsored by Chris Strub. Free first class. Dan, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Please don't hurt me in this class.
Can't promise anything.
See ya. He loves taking it out on me. That's a wrap. Thanks for listening to Chris Strub Unmuted. Support the show by clicking like and subscribe. Keep up with me on social media at Chris Strub, and let me know, do you want to see more episodes outside of my home recording studio? Do you want me to go on location more? You want me to try it? What's up? What's up? Victoria, oh my God. It's so good to see you. I'll see you again soon, all right? I owe you a case of water. Smart water, right? That's it. It's on my list next time I see you, all right? Travel safe. Victoria, I got to get Victoria on the podcast. And remember, look at that. We are all famous to a few people. I did not plan that.